Here's a little tutorial on Upsy Daisy and how to operate her. So we have a set of keys here. The keys for your padlock. This little one here, so we can insert into there. Tricky with one hand, but bear with me. So that padlock comes off. Once that's off, you put it there temporarily, making sure this doesn't fall into the water. We lift up the hatch and you slide the hatch forward. And then you can open up these doors, and behind these doors there are some hooks. You can hook the doors up and keep them open. This of course is dependent on the weather. If it's raining, you're not going to want to do that, so because you're going to get water into the boat. So if it's raining, the hatch prevents the doors from opening, so the hatch does have to be lifted, but then you can open it this way and keep your hatch in this closed position here and come in. If the rain is coming from behind you and it is going into the boat, then you obviously close your doors, and you can still continue cruising because all your controls for the engine are in this unit here. So we can take that out, bring our flap down, and this is our control panel for the engine, and this is the key we use to start the engine. Okay, when the engine is cold, so you've started the engine for the first time of a day, you're going to put it into the heat position temporarily, as so. Hold it for about 5 seconds. This warms the glow plugs up and makes the engine easier to start. We'll spin around and start, and there you go, engine started. To stop the engine, you have to press this button here. That's the stop button. You'll hear that beep, then you just have to switch the key to the opposition. If the engine's warm, you can just start the boat up straight away, as so. Now if you took the key there, the engine still runs, but you're not charging your battery, so it's crucial to always keep that key in the run position there and stop it. Stop button there and off. These switches here, the only switch you're going to need here is your horn, which is that one there. So the horn is only used when you're going around a blind corner and you can't see what's around the corner, so that you just give the horn a toot, and that lets other boats know that you are around the corner. They'll toot back. We'll quickly start the engine. So these are our speed controls here. So this goes forward and this goes backwards. We'll talk more about the cruise control on the show out, but you just use this little clutch here. By pressing that button in there, it stays in. That gives you a clutch which you can rev the engine up. So if your battery is running low and you're moored up, you could rev the engine up a little bit just before you go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, or if you want to do it first thing in the morning when you wake up, just to get the water running for a shower. If you weren't cruising for a while, then you could do that. Okay, we're going to switch the engine off and we're going to go inside the boat. You haven't got to go into the engine bay. The engine will be serviced. There's a full tank of diesel, so there's no reason for you to go down here at all. Everything is covered here. So this is your tiller bar, and then we're going to get the tiller. This is your steering, and the tiller bar is actually in the steps down here in a minute. We'll come down in 1 sec. They're under the steps there. Just quickly, here is your gas locker. So you will have 2 gas cylinders. One will be connected, one will not. There's a spanner down there, so if you run out of gas, you simply take the regulator off, doing an anti-reverse thread. So you do it anti-clockwise to do up and clockwise to undo up. And then you turn this one off here, you take this one off, you connect it to the other one, and then turn it back on again. So that gas just powers your cooker, so you're not going to use a lot of gas. Okay, so because it's nice today, we can put the hooks up again, as so. And we can go. Do be careful of this hatch because it is easy to pull off. As you can see there, you can pull it off, so it goes a little bit. So make sure that it's always sliding on, as so. Okay, so let's just go into the boat now. So this gives us a quick look around. The first thing we need to do is spin around and look into our control panel here. Now, your switchboard here, all the switches when you enter the boat will be on. So for the entire duration of your holiday, you can keep these switches on, apart from one. This is the water pump, which is this one here. If you're going to leave the boat for an evening, for example, you're going to go out to a pub for a meal or a few drinks, just switch this pump off. That's a safety measure that just prevents an emergency happening with the water. For example, if there's a split in the pipe system and you weren't here and the water pump was on, it could pump water into the boat. You'll come back and you'll find all the water's flooding in the boat. So we don't want to have that. So as a safety measure, whenever you leave the boat, just switch your water pump on. Other than that, these can all be kept on. And the water pump is what operates your taps and your shower. So you need to have that on to use your taps in your shower. This here is simply a light switch. So you see your lights up there. There are light switches located throughout the boat, and your fuse switches here are on this section there. They can be kept on. Stereo there. Your heating, if you want to use the heating, you're going to press this button here on the right hand side. Now you'll see a little on. It's gone now, but it will say on there. You won't hear anything and nothing will happen for a while, but just keep it on, and over a period of time, as we hear it now, so you can just hear this little fan blowing down there, and I've already had it on today, so it's blowing on a little bit of warm here already. If it's cold, it won't be warm straight away. It'll take a while to heat up. So once you switch these on, you've got to let them go through their cycle. So if you switch it on accidentally, keep it on for about 10 minutes to let it go for its cycle, and then you can switch it off. And to switch it off, we're just simply going to press this button again. You'll hear a few dashes will come across there. This green light will go off, and then your heating is off. You can have the heating on when you want, but not overnight. So if you're going to go to bed, just switch off before you go to bed. This preserves battery power. Because the heater does use batteries up, so if you keep it on all night, overnight, A, it's going to be quite loud, and B, you're going to drain your batteries full in the morning. So turn it off last thing at night and put it on first thing in the morning if you're cold. This down here is your inverter. This is a 240 watt inverter, so basically that converts your power from 12 volts to 240 volts, which lets you operate household sockets as such, which are located throughout the boat. Now this does use a lot more power than standard 12 volts, so so that's why it only uses anything which is plugged into your 12 volts. And at the moment on the boat, the only thing that is plugged into the plugs is the microwave, if you decide to have the microwave, which is here. Now this will draw a lot of energy from the batteries, so if you're going to use the microwave, I highly recommend switching the engine on first and letting it run over in neutral. I'm just taking over. That will give the batteries an extra charge, and it will stop the microwave from draining the batteries down. So back to the inverter. As I mentioned earlier, this can be kept on during the day, but like the heating, turn this off last thing at night. So currently we have a green light on there, okay, which says it's on. This is our on and off switches here. So to switch this off, we're going to push this to the middle position, which is so. That will switch it off. So that's last thing at night, and then when you wake up in the morning, switch it back on again and you're good to go. I think the thermostat is actually set to about 18 on this heater anyway, so we're about kind of the right temperature for it to be operating at thermostat. Yeah, so it is about 18. So I'm not going to turn it off quite yet because it's still going through its cycle, but in a few minutes I'm going to come back and turn that off. I think that's it in terms of the inside switchboard. If you listen now, we can hear it coming back on again. So yeah, it's kind of, it does that. The heater will come on a little bit, find its temperature, then it will come down and it'll be quiet for a while. And then, so that's the thermostat working. Stereo is self-explanatory. There's different options. You know, you'll be fine with the stereo. Light switches in here are touch operated, so if you press one touch, the blue light comes on there and the USB charging point comes on there, so you can charge your phones etc through here. And if you want to use the lights, you're going to press it again, your light will come on. They are touch control dim, 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 so you can hold it on, it gets brighter, and then do it again, and it gets dimmer. So you can find your optimum light. I'm going to switch it off for now. So these are quite a nice little warm light for the evening when you switch these main lights off here. You just want a cozy light. Okay, so we're going to move on into the boat. The heating's coming on again in a moment, which is good. Let's have a look at the blinds. So the blinds are opened. They're delicate, so just be very delicate with these. Don't be forceful. You pull down, so it's pretty much level with the bottom of the frame there, and you can see there's a magnet there. And there's a little steel cup on the back there. Match these up. They've gone a little bit low. It's a bit tricky when you've got one hand, so right about there. And the magnets hold it in nice and tidy. So when you want to bring it back up again, lift these up, pull out very delicately, don't give it any force or you'll break the blinds. And there we go. So the heating, as we can hear, is coming on that. This is our little fridge unit in here. It's a 12-volt fridge. This can be kept on all the time. There are fire extinguishers located throughout the boat. There's one by the fridge here, there's one on the kitchen right top, and there'll be one in the bedroom. So these are to be used in the event of an emergency, for fire emergency. So if you have a fire roughly the size of the extinguisher, use the extinguishers. If the fire is getting bigger and out of control, you're going to get off the boat and call the fire brigade. Hopefully the boat is tied up. If it's not, and you can safely tie the boat up, do so. When the fire brigade answers the phone, they'll ask you where you are. You can say you're on the Kennett Canal heading towards wherever you're heading. Make a note of the bridge numbers that you're going underneath, and you can say we're between bridge number 160 or 161, and they know how to get you. Or you can use what-free words, the app on your phone. That's probably the best way of doing it, to be honest. When they come, they'll ask you for the isolation points of the boat, which there's one there, that's the fuel, the back deck, and there's one there, the batteries, and then the gas is on the loft we've already shown you. So these are the three combustible parts of the boat that the emergency services will have to get to. So down here is your cooker, very easy to operate. So if you wanted to just bring it on there, you've got your grill setting there, so you go that way for your grill, or your oven is that way there. You have ignition there, and you'll have pans, etc. underneath. The hob and the sink are a little built-in unit here together, so we lift these flaps up. Here's your sink, you can lift this tap up here, and this is your water pump. You can just hear it now, it's pumping the water, so we're going to switch it off, bring it down again, and here is your hob. So that's pretty easy and self-explanatory. I think we can turn the heating off now, so we're going to go back to the heating. We're going to go back on there. We're going to press that button until you see that. The green light's gone off, and the heating is going to slowly turn itself off. Once in the kitchen, one more time actually, before we move on, right down the bottom of the unit there's a switch. This is the shower pump. So if you're going to have a shower, it's essential that you're going to put this on just before you get into the shower. And you can hear that now. Okay, that's a shower pump, and I'll show you how that works when we go around in a minute. So we're going to keep that on for now. And we're going to go around into the shower room, which is this room here. And then here's our shower. You have a little shower curtain here, which you pull across in the wet room. And then once you can switch the shower on there, shower water is going to come down. It's difficult with one hand there, but you get your the angle right. It's going to, so you have your shower, but you can see down there, this is your plug where the shower goes, and you can hear that. So that's sucking the water out of the boat. If that's not on and you have a shower, you're going to flood the shower room and you're going to eventually flood the boat. So it's essential to have the shower pump on. There is a thermostat control unit on that side there, and that's your power for the shower. I'm going to go back around and just turn that pump off. Back into the kitchen, on your knees, and switch that off again. Okay, going back into the bathroom. This is your cassette toilet. So to operate the cassette toilet, you have your lid there, and down here there's a little flap. Okay, so at the moment it's to this position there to your left. That means it's closed. When you want to use it, you push it that way. That opens up a flap. you can then do your thing in the toilet. If it's on number 1, you don't really have to use the flush, which is there. Flush the water down to save yourself water, and also to save filling up your tank too soon. Spray a little bit of cleansing for this little thing, this little squirty gun here. This has a toilet rinse lotion in it, which disinfects the toilet, makes it smell nice, and saves you water. Okay, so we can clean back that again. There's a toilet brush there if you need to clean the toilet as well. And once more, your flush is there if you need it. But try and be frugal with the amount of water you flush down, because that will mean that your tanks will last longer. And your tanks can be found behind the toilet on the other side. So if we come outside and then we come to a little cupboard here, we can open up, and there is a cassette toilet. So if your cassette toilet is full, and you'll be able to tell it's full because there'll be a light that comes on the unit there, and you'll also be able to look down, you'll see down there, and you'll see that it's getting near to the top. So when your unit is full, you can bring it out. There's a little yellow flap there. So you lift the yellow flap up, and then you can pull the toilet out. Yeah, I've got some rubber gloves here for you to use if you want to use these. We'll probably still use actually where I'm going to take this now. So we're going to take the full tank, and we're going to come into the rear living area, and we're going to open up this flap here where you'll see there are some spare tanks. So we will bring out a spare tank. So this will be empty apart from a little bit of water and a little bit of blue lotion, which kind of helps break down your waste. So we take that away, and we're going to replace the heavy and full one carefully. Don't damage the unit, back into its place. So that one there is sealed. We made sure it's all sealed up, so it's not going to be smelling. It's just going to be there waiting to empty it when as an Elson point, which are located throughout the canal. So there are different Elson points as you move on, which you can see on a map. We'll keep our gloves there. So these are our storage areas. I can put that one. So, yep, so we can go back now with the new cassette. And just simply push it in, like so, very gently, until you hear that click, and you'll see that the yellow lock has gone behind this plastic there. You can close your door, just pop into the toilet, open up the lid, and just check that the flap is working, and then you're good to go. Okay, moving on. So we're pretty much done with most of the things now, actually, most of the technical things of the boat. In the bedroom area here, there is a TV and remote control. There's a little touch button light there as well, and also a wireless charging point for your phone if required. There are some spare USB points behind there if you need to charge anything for USB. We'll switch that one off now. There we go, that's off. Our log burner is here. That will be explained in a winter video because we don't need to use that now. The other fire extinguisher is by the bed there. Wardrobe area, there's nothing of significance you have to touch here, just leave everything as it is. We're coming back, so this bed is already made up. This can be taken down, and the table which is underneath there can be made, installed there, and you can make this into a little seating area, but the table's quite heavy, so if there's just 2 of you on the boat, I highly recommend just keeping this bed made for the duration of your stay. Underneath the fridge here, there's another USB charging point if required. And I think that's it out here. So, apart from, we were looking for the tiller. So in this cupboard here is your tiller. So this tiller When you're ready to go cruising, you can bring your tiller out. You carefully take your pin out here. Remove the pin, don't let that fall in the water. You put your tiller on there as such. Put your pin through, and then that's how we're going to be steering. So I'll take it off for now. So carefully take that off, put the pin back in. We can put that back in the steps. So when you're moored up and you finished cruising for the day, just bring the tiller in and put it back into this top step here. That just prevents people from stealing it. If you want to make a table up in this area here, there's a little Desmo hole right here, so we can take this cover off and get out this pole, which you fit into the Desmo, and then we're going to pull out a table. Currently it's covered up and being protected from being scratched, so we're going to take this off. Again, a lot easier with two hands. So behind that you'll see this little Desmo attachment there. That fits over the top of the pole as so, like that. And then come back, you have a table already made up. And you can then easily kind of get through it if you want to. So you could keep this up if you wanted to cruise, but most of the time it's quite nice to have this access free. So if you're not using it, then you can just bring the table up, put your table there very temporarily, get your cloth, you cover it back up again, take your pole out and put it back into our storage area here. These are other storage areas here, so maybe this is a good location for putting in some shoes, etc. and things like that. And you have a little extra wardrobe in here for coats and shoes, and a little storage area down there with your life jackets and a trolley if required. Okay, so that's pretty much it, I think. So that should set you up for a cruise. And yeah, I'm sorry it's been a bit long, but yeah, that's the information I think that you require. So have a lovely time.